Tonight, border towns in the southern U.S. are bracing for impact. Video from San Diego, California, El Paso, Texas, and Brownsville, Texas show thousands of migrants along the Mexico border waiting for Title 42 to end about 24 hours from now. The COVID-era border policy allowed the U.S. to quickly expel migrants trying to cross the border instead of letting them request asylum first. We have been talking about this humanitarian crisis at the southern border for years, but we haven't talked as much about what's happening at the northern border, where this year a record number of migrants are trying to enter the U.S. through Canada. This spring, Danny Spiewak traveled to northwestern Minnesota to get a firsthand look at the border and learn more about what's driving so much immigration.
Over the vast farmland where Minnesota, North Dakota, and Canada intersect.
Here, there's no border wall.
It's hard to know which country you're in.
There's nothing on either side of the border.
Agent Xavier Ruiz oversees the U.S. Border Patrol station in Pembina, North Dakota.
It's just a straight shot right up into Canada.
Before the snow melted this spring, we followed Agent Ruiz to some of the most remote points on the U.S.-Canada border, which is the longest undefended boundary in the world.
Almost 5,500 miles.
COVID-era rules under the Trump and Biden administrations have restricted many migrants from entering the U.S. through Mexico. So now some are flying to Canada to get into the U.S. through the northern border. Out east, thousands have been flowing into states like New York and Vermont to seek asylum status in the U.S. because of persecution in their home countries that can include gang and cartel violence.
Their lives are threatened, their family members are harmed and or killed, so that pushes a lot of migrants out of their country.
A similar increase in crossings is happening in Minnesota and North Dakota, although on a smaller scale given the remote population on this part of the border. During the latest 6-month period, the Border Patrol Grand Forks sector reported 100 apprehensions of migrants, already surpassing the entire total from the previous year. Many are natives of Mexico who can fly to Canada first without a visa.
We are probably going to see about 2.5 times the amount of apprehensions if we keep on this pace.
But the journey into the upper Midwest is difficult, with flooding and heat in the spring and summer and blizzard conditions in the winter. In January 2022, the Patel family from Western India froze to death trying to cross this exact area.
They perished out here.
And just last month, Border Patrol rescued 9 people from freezing floodwaters near Warroad, Minnesota, including 7 citizens of Mexico. These are just a few examples of the desperation migrants are facing.
What we see in our community clinics are just regular families looking for a better life who are in extreme poverty and just have no way out.
Dr. Miguel Fiol coordinates a Minnesota community group that works with migrant families, particularly those from Latin America.
Sueño Americano, the American dream, it's always in their minds.
Fiol's work has become especially urgent over the last decade due to increasing economic and political turmoil in parts of Latin America.
They say, we're just going to die here or die crossing. That is such a repetitive theme.
The stories have been well documented at the southern border, but less so in the north, where people have been afraid to speak publicly.
We have not had a lot of families come up and said, you know, I crossed through International Falls, or I crossed through northern Minnesota. But we know there has been attempts which have ended up in fatalities.
Adding a layer of complexity to this story is a new agreement this spring announced by the United States and Canada that impacts where people can seek asylum and who can do it. For the past 2 decades, both the U.S. and Canada have been able to turn away asylum seekers at official entry points, but the policy did not apply to people crossing in between those ports. Under the new agreement, the policy will apply to the entire border. Separately, the Biden administration also wants broader restrictions on asylum seekers who've traveled through other countries to get to the U.S.
We have both a legal and a moral obligation to process asylum claims.
Mitchell Hamlin, immigration law expert Ana Patratz Acosta, is part of a coalition that opposes these new rules.
It's going to continue to drive people to go via more dangerous routes.
Stop this regulation. Stop it.
At the U.S.-Canada border, Agent Ruiz says he doesn't think the new asylum rules have led to more dangerous crossing attempts.
We have not seen that, so it's sort of a wait-and-see approach right now.
But as the weather warms,
sometimes they walk through some areas just like this and get picked up by a vehicle.
Ruiz says he expects more crossings facilitated by human smugglers with the wrong intentions.
They entice them with being able to cross the border easily, coming into the U.S., getting them jobs, but on the flip side, I think the harsh reality sets in once they cross.
The restrictions between the U.S. and Canada have been in place since late March, but now with Title 42 expiring tomorrow night, the Biden administration's broader asylum restrictions will take effect in the North and South. Migrants need to either apply online and present themselves at an official entry point or claim asylum in the first country they've passed through previously, such as Mexico. Otherwise, they will be denied entry with some limited exceptions.
It's just so incredibly complicated, heartbreaking. We heard from a couple people like Mr. Fuel in your story who say get rid of some of these restrictions, but then there are a lot of other people saying they're not tough enough.
Sure, the Biden administration has really been criticized on both sides from many who say that this is going to drive people to more dangerous routes. But then, like you said, many Republicans, especially those elected in the South, who say they point to the fact that there's been about 10,000 people each day crossing here Monday and Tuesday at the U.S.-Mexico border, and they're pushing the Biden administration to do more to restrict. So that's where you kind of find those criticisms on both sides.
Yeah, and unfortunately no easy answers. But Danny, great story. Thanks so much.